Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Marvel GamerVerse Walmart exclusive 2-pack of War Machine versus Omega Red. This has started to ship out from Walmart.com if you pre-ordered it, or you may find it in store. Luckily, I found mine in store before, and then I just canceled my pre-order. But I know some people's, at that time, they had already shipped. Mine didn't, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to cancel the pre-order. So I found it in store while I was out in Las Vegas for work, which I'm going back to Vegas. I'm trying to do these reviews before I go. I'll be gone for 8 days straight, so it won't be any reviews. I might throw in some toy hunt stuff or something like that. If I can get some kind of content, I'll get it out there for you guys. But I went to a Walmart. I had a picture of the barcode, so I had them scan, and they said, yeah, we got them in the back. Lady went to the back, brought the whole case out, and I was able to grab the one that I wanted. So I was very happy with that. It was very cool that they did that, because not a lot of times Walmart has it scanned in the back room so they could easily find it. And in this case, it worked out great. Some stores are doing the whole display thing. Like I had gone to one that had the display set up. People posted Facebook pictures of it earlier. It was there, but by the time I got there in Vegas, they were already all gone, so I had to go to a different one. But I was able to get it, and I'm very pleased with it. So here we have the War Machine and Omega Red. This is the third Omega Red figure that we have gotten, essentially. I had only reviewed one of them, so this is the one from the Deadpool wave, Sasquatch Build-A-Figure? I can't remember which wave it was. May have been Wendigo. And then there is the Wolverine 5-pack that I never reviewed. I have it, but I never reviewed it. So I'm going to open it up for the first time to get that Omega Red figure out of there so we could do the 3-way comparison. And then the War Machine. This War Machine's kind of the third release also. We have this one here. This was the deluxe release. And then it had a retro card release that was kind of white and black. And then there is this GamerVerse. Well, it's not technically GamerVerse, but there is this War Machine figure, which is GamerVerse-like, because this really wasn't from the comics. It was essentially a video game version, because War Machine was just kind of a recolor of the Iron Man in one of the games. I can't remember which game it was and all the background in that. But anyway, we get a new War Machine. There are some new pieces going on with that War Machine, so that is cool. Looking at the package, you get War Machine versus Omega Red. You got the Marvel GamerVerse at the top. There, the side artwork, you kind of get that versus screen of War Machine, and then you get that Omega Red there. On the other side, looking at the back of the package, you can kind of see the two battling it out. So there we go. The bio reads, James Rhodey Rhodes suits up as War Machine going head-to-head against Omega Red and his weaponized cybernetic tentacles. So there you have it. 2.5 minutes in, even more. Let's go ahead and open this up. Let's take a look. Okay, so here is Omega Red and War Machine out of the package, and these are two pretty good figures. You know, if you have the previous two Omega Red figures, do you really need this one? Probably not. There are some updates and some new things to it, like we got a new head sculpt. The shoulder pads and harness and things are new. We actually get pinless arms this time around. We still have pins in the legs, which are definitely a detriment because those things are gummy. War Machine's kind of the same thing. We got the same arms because the arms were pinless previously. New gauntlet pieces on the forearms. The torso may actually be new, but it's a little loose, and then there's some gumminess in the knees because those are pins there. So I think out of all the Marvel GamerVerse packs, this is probably the one that was the least necessary. I don't know if necessary. Yeah, I would say necessary, because all the other ones, we either get a major upgrade to a figure like Psylocke, or we get some fan favorites like Blue Venom. There's nothing special about that Blue Venom. He may have new arms, but it's just the Venom figure that we had gotten before, but in blue. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Blue Venom. It's very game accurate, which is awesome. But was it necessary? But it's paired with a new Captain America, so it's like, okay, well, there you go. And I just don't think either of these figures have the necessary upgrades to make this a must-have. The good thing is it's a Walmart exclusive, so Walmart exclusives can be difficult to come by. In this case, I don't think it is, because I think this 2-pack is actually in stock right now at Walmart.com, so I'll have a link in the video description below if you're looking to pick it up. So it's not as necessary, but again, if you had the previous two Omega Red figures, I think you're good. If you had any of the previous War Machine figures, I think you're good. If you have to have them, then you can probably get it pretty easily, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to take closer looks at the figures, and we'll do the comparisons as we go. And then, yeah. So we'll start off with War Machine. We'll compare him to the previous ones to show you guys what the difference is between this figure and the previous ones that we had gotten. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the War Machine figure, and yeah, he is pretty good. We get this bluish tint to the silver, which is cool. It's right, it's game accurate. We also had that kind of previously. It's a little bit darker. It kind of, I mean, it's supposed to be silver. It's just how the shine kind of looks to it. But I think I kind of like this one more than this one. I like that it's a little bit darker. The black is a little bit shinier. And I'm confused as to the history of the game. I haven't played in many years. I do have kind of the updated version for the Switch, but I don't get to play it often because of work and everything like that. So if you guys know the history as far as what's going on. I think War Machine was included in one of them because they couldn't include Iron Man, or there was something like that, but it was basically War Machine was a reskin of Iron Man, I thought. But here we get an updated figure that has a completely different look. But again, we had gotten this War Machine figure kind of previously, as you could see here. The legs are completely the same, but there's a lot of other pieces that are different. So the hip and torso pieces are actually different. The forearm pieces are different. And the head sculpts are different. So they're not completely the same. Obviously, they're going to share the same hands. But there are some new things going on there, whereas I initially thought it was going to be a complete repaint. But it is, in fact, different. We get a couple of shoulder cannons on this previous War Machine figure, as you can see there, and it could kind of clip on, and then it could hinge around on there. Here's the previous white one that we had gotten, and these two were the same to each other. But, you know, this new one... again, different because you can see those shoulder pads are new, the torso is new, the hip piece is new, so it's kind of redesigned. And then the head sculpt is new as well. That scope piece on his right side is a little bit different. You can see the mouthpiece is a little bit different. This has like a layered look to the faceplate. So there is some differences there. This shoulder cannon that he has over his left shoulder, you could swivel around that cannon there. So when he's not in use, you can kind of fold it back like so. You could swivel it around, and then boom, you can hinge it out, and then you could shoot it. And it's on a ball joint, so you can kind of adjust it around, you know, as needed. So that is really cool. And then you also get this this blast effect piece here. So that just sits right on in there, so you can have it kind of blast out. There is a tiny little peg hole in there, so if you have some kind of stand, you will be able to get it in there, and it's a very tight like peg hole in there. So I'm thinking it's like those hook type flight stands that you could buy from people. I think Geek Effect sells them like on an Etsy page, stuff like that. I think ACBA may have at one time. So, you know, those kinds of stands, I think, is what you could use there, and people, you know, edit them out and all that. We also get this rocket piece that also has a peg hole in there, as you can see that. So there's nothing on the figure to peg these pieces. So again, you would have to use your own like flight stand type of thing. And this is just one of those ones where you would have it floating and make it look like he had fired it out. But this effect piece there is actually cool because you could actually port that into the cannon there. So that's cool. And then War Machine also comes with an extra set of hands. So he has fists out of the package, and then I lost the other one. Oh, here we go. We have those arc reactor hands there that are just kind of the straight out. So there's no wrist hinge on there, but these are the ones that'll go straight out. So like if you pop hand off, and these hands are a little bit trickier. It's hard to get a good grip because these gauntlet pieces are new and they're kind of large in there. You can have a hand out like so you can make it look like he's doing the arc reactor blast or the repulsor blast, excuse me. The problem is we don't get any of those blast effect pieces. We've gotten those a million times, but when we need them, we don't get them. I mean, chances are you have some in your collection, but even still, I think it's better that they include them anyway, so it's a little unfortunate, but we got the hands to do it. So that is the War Machine figure. Now let's go ahead and jump on, I guess let's get in for a closer look at some areas. So again, the head sculpt looks good. That scope piece there is the same blue color that matches kind of the plastic in there. And that looks really good. That repulsor in the middle, or arc reactor. But man, my torso is just a little loose. It's not super floppy or anything like that, but like it's definitely very loose. So it's a little unfortunate. Those shoulder pads are quite large. The back of the figure, yeah. I just wish they upgraded to pins or pinless, because these pins are gummy. That's the biggest issue with pins, because the gumminess. Now the blue matches the blue, the black matches the black. So from that standpoint, cool. But it sucks when they're gummy, because this is bad. This is real bad. Like, I don't like it at all. But yeah, that's War Machine. Let's go ahead and jump over to Omega Red. Okay, so Omega Red has a lot of new stuff going on with him. But I want to talk about the head sculpt in there, because the paint work on the head sculpt is phenomenal. Look at the silver parts alongside his cheeks, his mouth open, very clean paint apps to his gums, to his teeth, to his tongue, his eyes, the shading around his eyes, just superb. Like, it really good. Hasbro, for the most part, they do pretty good with this, right? But every now and then on a comic figure specifically, it's like, wow, like the digital print work that they could do for the faces really, really elevates the look of the figure. It's just really, really good. The first one, Omega Red, which was actually the Sauron Build-A-Figure, that's this head sculpt here, so you can see that. Not that this one was bad, but it just doesn't, it lacks the details around the eyes and stuff, right? We get the nice silver on his cheeks, and the teeth are cool in there. It's just, you don't get the real depth and everything in the sculpt like this new one. And then the one that came in that Wolverine Villains pack was pretty good as well. But again, same thing, we don't get the same shading around the eyes, which makes a big difference. And they're not quite the same head sculpt. While they look similar, they are not the same. Like the nose isn't as pointy. And then the teeth, you know, are done differently. His mouth is a little bit more wide. This one's a little bit more open vertically, if that makes sense. And then they didn't really paint the silver on the side of the heads on here, which is tough. And then this one actually came with two head sculpts. It came with another one of this head sculpt, so I didn't bother bringing it out. So that's kind of the difference. And then the reds on each one are a little bit different. Oh, I'm going to have to zoom out. The reds on each one are a little bit different. As you can see, the Wolverine Villains one was a much brighter red. This new one, the GamerVerse one, is a much darker red. It's similar to that first one, but it's not as bright, if that makes sense. So you can see there. And then the biggest upgrade is the fact that we have pinless arms this time around, but we still got the same legs that are pinned, and there is some gumminess in the knees, which really, really sucks. It's unfortunate. And then the ankles on there are pretty loose, a little bit more loose than I would like. I wish there was a little bit more friction to hold it in place in there. And then the shoulder harness is different. As you can see, the previous two had the same ones painted differently. You know, we had a gray and a dark red. Here we have a silver and a bright red, which is cool. But now this other one, the shoulder pads are shaped differently. These, I don't know if those are grenade pieces or whatever those pieces are much larger, and they're painted silver on there. And then it's more white on the strap. It looks quite nice. So that is the difference there. And then just in paintwork in general. Oh, you know what? The knees are different too. They're much smaller. Those knee pads are a lot smaller. These two, the older ones, share the same knee pads, but you could see these ones are different. So that is the difference there. And then the other big difference is in terms of the accessories is we didn't get this with the previous Omega Red figures. So the previous ones, you had a fist for the right hand, and then you had an open hand for the left. This time around, same thing, out of the package, open hand for the left, fist for the right. But this time we get an open hand for the right hand and a fist for the left hand. We did not get those with the previous two Omega Red figures. I guarantee they had them sculpted at that time and just didn't put them into production for cost reasons. But now they're like, hey, we can throw them in since we're doing a 2-pack. So we got those hands this time around. We get the same exact tentacle pieces that we had gotten before. The Wolverine Villains pack, the tentacles were all white. These ones are similar to the ones in the Sauron Build-A-Figure wave, except it's a better looking silver. This was that cheap, ugly-ass gray that they would often do, but these are a nice silver color. So the same exact tentacles. These, again, will port right on into the forearm piece, as you can see there. So just as an example to show you guys how it works, you just peg them into that spot, and then like so. And then we also get these other tentacle pieces here. These are the same ones that we had gotten previously before as well. From inside the package, you may not have been able to really see them because these were tucked like underneath the figure, kind of blocked from view. But we have these here. And again, same ones that we had gotten before. They are not any different. If I look at them, yeah, they should be the exact same one. So no difference there with these tentacle pieces. So that is the difference with the Omega Red figures compared to the other ones. Oh, and the hair is flowing a little bit more. The other one's just kind of a relaxed ponytail. This one's kind of blowing in the wind there. It does not swivel, so you want to be careful. Yeah, you want to be careful not to tear that rubber piece there. So now let's go ahead and check out the articulation. Okay, and then going over articulation for both, we're going to start with War Machine here. So again, this shoulder cannon, as you can see, hinges around, and then you could swivel around the cannon on there, and then you can kind of shift up and down on that ball peg. I'm going to pop that off for now so it's not really in the way, and we can focus on the articulation. The neck is on a separate piece in there from the torso, which is pretty cool. We don't see that too often with Marvel Legends, but unfortunately, he can only look up that much there. I guess if you lean him back, then he can look up, but the head and the neck piece on there, not a huge amount. And then looking down, he can look down that much there. If you shift the neck kind of forward, you can pivot the neck, not the head on there, and then swivel at the neck, at the head, so that is good, and you do get some good pivot. The arm, you can get the shoulders to go on out, straight out that much there, not quite all the way out. You get a full rotation in there. That shoulder pad is keyed in there, so it moves nicely with the arm. No problem. You got upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed pinless elbow, but the way the elbow is and with that gauntlet piece, oh, this one's stuck in there pretty good. You're not getting a whole lot of bend, so that's 90 degrees maybe. That gauntlet piece is just too big. It hits the bicep, so that's unfortunate. This is one of those situations where a single jointed elbow probably could have given us the same result there. Wrists swivel and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge on the fists. Remember, the repulsor blast hands do not have any kind of hinge. We got the ab crunch on this guy. Remember, mine is a little loose. It only crunches forward that much. That's not a whole lot at all. He goes back a fair amount, which is good there. Again, it's a little too loose for my liking. You got a waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that far. The leg does not go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinned knee. There, pinless elbows, pins at the knee, so that much bend at the knee. No calf swivel, boot swivel of any kind. Foot hinges down. You get tiny hinge up, maybe. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Gummy knees. So that is War Machine's articulation. Not bad for what you need War Machine to do there. So now we're going to jump over into Omega Red. And he's a little loose and gummy at the knees and the ankles, unfortunately. So the head, you're not really getting a whole lot of movement on the head. It is hinged, but he's going to look up that much. That's actually a fair amount there. And then looking down, you can get him to look down all the way. So not too bad. You get a rotation in there. And you don't really get any pivot going on in the neck. The arm you can get to go out. Is that it? I feel like he should be able to get more. There we go. The arm can go straight on out. You could do a full rotation. You just have to watch out for that shoulder pad. Kind of gets in the way in there. And get this, there is a butterfly joint. So bam, you can get the arm to go hella far back. This is awesome. And then coming forward, you could do a little bit and you can get some crossbody in there. This kind of gets in the way of the shoulder pad because it's so large. It just gets in the way there. So that's unfortunate, but man, you can get that arm to really go out far, and as you can see, that pec just really comes out like abnormally so, which is a great thing, right? It's the shoulder pad hides it, so it's all good. Upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend there at the elbow, which is awesome because again, this is an upgrade that we actually got a pinless elbow that we did not get before. So the previous Omega Red figures had pins at the elbow, so these are new arms. That forearm piece is the same, but the arm itself has been updated to be pinless. So that is cool. That again is a big upgrade. Is it enough for you to pay $50 to buy the pack? I don't know. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge on the open hands as well as the fists. We also have an ab crunch on this guy, so he can crunch forward that much there, so not too bad. He can go back a little ways there, so that is good. You got a waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward, wow, really, really high up. The leg doesn't really go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinned knee, so pinless at the elbows, pins at the knees, exactly the same as like War Machine there. No calf swivel of any kind. Foot hinges down very easily and nicely. Foot hinges up a little bit. Ankle pivot, that's a little too loose to my liking. And peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So Omega Red, to me, is the highlight of this 2-pack for sure. But, you know, is it enough for you of an upgrade compared to the previous ones for you to pick up the 2-pack? You guys let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so full side-by-side comparison. You can see War Machine there with the other War Machine, so you guys can get the full-on look. And then just for the fun of it, we're going to throw in this War Machine because, again, both, in my opinion, video game versions there. And then the Omega Red comparison, so you guys could see all three of them side by side. The older ones, surprisingly, they're just not real gummy at the knees. For whatever reason, it was a kind of a newer thing that the gumminess when it came to pins, because it's a softer plastic used for those knees. I'm not sure why the change. It sucks that when that happens, because these ones hold up pretty nicely, whereas this one in the middle just doesn't quite hold up as well. And it's funny because the shoulder pads are larger, but the knee pads are smaller there, so... yeah, interesting. Okay, so that is my review of the Marvel GamerVerse War Machine versus Omega Red. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this 2-pack? Is it one that you've been excited about, or do you kind of feel the same, where this one out of all the others was the one that was less needed or the most unnecessary in comparison? The upgrades to Omega Red are nice, but the gumminess of the knees is really unfortunate. Sure, we get some new stuff with War Machine, but I just don't feel like it's really enough to warrant a new figure. And then my torso is very loose, so again, that makes it a problem when trying to pose him out and everything too, and getting him to balance. So maybe that's just an issue with mine. If you've got the 2-pack already, you used to have that same issue in the torso, let me know. Or if yours is good, let me know as well. I'm curious, because maybe I'll want to like get an exchange, hopefully find a better one, but we'll see. But you guys give me your thoughts on this 2-pack down in the comments below. Again, good upgrades, just were they necessary? Omega Red more so, War Machine I just think definitely not. But you guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.